What's up, guys? First video in the new house, in the new spot, and it happens to be a Choujin X chapter review for chapter 23 of all chapters. Easily the most hype, biggest build-up chapter we've had yet. This is something that I know the entire community was looking forward to, me included, and it did not disappoint. So I did actually decide to record my reaction. And so he came to understand what? While reading the chapter, just gonna add bits and pieces of it in throughout the video when it's, relevant. So tell me what you guys think. If you guys enjoy that, I can keep doing it, and, anyway. So, with this being said, we gotta get into it. There's enough talking. The acoustics are probably terrible in here right now. I gotta get way more stuff. Not done yet. Still gotta figure out the exact lighting situation, too. The back wall is dark right now, but this is actually a little bit better, I think, than the previous things I had tried. Either way, the reaction is in a different lighting setup, so you guys will see it. Anyway, we seriously have to get into this because, my goodness, Tokyo is an absolute monster. He is built different, okay? We thought Azuma was built different. Tokyo is built different. I don't know how else to explain it. Now, I'm gonna start off by getting a little bit out of order, but we seriously need to talk about this. This is by far the most important thing in the entire chapter, bar none. I don't care what anybody says. The mother thing. It already talked about a beast awakening. We already figured that was going to be Tokyo. But when we have Tokyo sprouting big, giant, weird-looking wings, and all of a sudden you notice that those wings are made of hands, and the mother has hands. Oh, the wings are hands! No, the wings are hands! No! The mother has hands! The mother has hands! No! Get the hands out of here! Less hands! No hands! Fly without them! This new connection between Tokyo and the mother thing is way too obvious for my liking, okay? Not for like a story reason or anything like that, but more of a personal reason. I like Tokyo. Personally, as a dude I could get along with, as a guy I kinda like, I want that thing to stay as far away from Tokyo as possible. Now, as a fan of the story, I kinda want it to get not as close to Tokyo as possible. That would be crossing over into a different genre of entertainment. We're not talking about that, though. So, I want it to be relatively close to Tokyo for story-wise, because, that's just going to lead to all kinds of stuff. But personally, I want that thing to stay as far away as possible. So, the wings being flappy hands, not good. Not good. Also very good, but not good. But actually getting into the chapter in, a little more chronological fashion, we start off with Azuma basically handling Tokyo the way a lot of us expected he would. It's not that we think Tokyo is a pushover, but we all saw what Azuma did on the rooftop. It was kinda nuts. I don't think Tokyo has ever shown the potential, at least until this chapter, like halfway through or whatever, to be able to keep up with that. And at the beginning, he was not. He's just absolutely getting demolished. Tokyo's landing nothing. Azuma is landing everything. Even when Tokyo goes to grab or punch or do whatever, Azuma makes Tokyo slit his own arm open just by blocking. He blocks and just has a blade pop out of the little cuff, and it just goes straight up Tokyo's arm. All he has to do is block, and he can beat Tokyo, for God's sake. At least at the beginning of the chapter. But that wasn't the first thing to happen. Actually, we start off with Azuma just straight up decking Tokyo in the face. Tokyo tries to swing on the spin around, or I'm not sure exactly what happened with there. He was kind of flailing around at the beginning of the chapter. I would be too if I was fighting Azuma. It's kind of fair. Anyway, Azuma at one point, I guess, regrew or reattached the chain between his hands that he had previously broken. Apparently he can do that. Did he just catch him with the chains? Can he regrow the chains? I thought he broke the damn chains. What is going on here? Not entirely surprising when you think about chains are like manifesting and falling out of his face hole. And on top of the fact that he's just making weird metal scissor blade things pop out and all kinds of different stuff. Yeah, the chains also being metal and all of these other different things. I can kind of see him being able to regrow the chain. But either way, he regrows the chain around the back of Tokyo's neck to pull him in while also having the whole like leg lock thing and just like roll him / throw him backward. The hell roll, he called it. Not my favorite name of an attack ever, but I guess not the technically worst that I've ever heard. We can do better than that. We can do better than the hell roll. Just saying. Sorry, the hell wheel, not the hell roll, the hell wheel. I don't know which one's better or worse, and I don't think the opinion really changes. Either way, the hell wheel sends Tokyo flying off into a lakeside ravine, pond, river area, sewer runoff, I don't know, somewhere. There's somewhere around some water that will become relevant when Azuma's defeated. If you couldn't tell about how I was talking about the first half of the chapter compared to the second half, yeah, he gets defeated. Either way, you've already been there, you've probably already seen it. Now, after this, Tokyo gets up and he raises himself. I kind of figured this was going to happen. We've seen Tokyo raise himself before. Well, why would he not do it against Azuma? Wouldn't really make sense if he didn't. Either way, this happens, and this is when Azuma does the whole blade block thing, headbutts the crap out of Tokyo, and this part of the chapter is basically Azuma annihilating Tokyo while he repeatedly raises himself to keep trying to fight back, to keep trying to stop his friend. We learn a little bit more about Choujin, their abilities, raising themselves, all of this. One thing in particular is that raising themselves is actually a fundamental power for a Choujin. I always thought raise was going to be like, I figured raise was going to be somewhat kind of high level, somewhat kind of tough, but this says a fundamental power. Fundamentals typically aren't extremely difficult, aren't very high-level techniques. Fundamentals are, well, the fundamentals, the building blocks. So, okay, raise is a simpler technique than I thought. Choujin are absolutely OP. Why did people try to fight these things in a war? I don't care if you have a numbers advantage. No. We learned that the use of their abilities breaks down their bodies and they overcome their humanity to the point of harm. That is what makes them Choujin. The more often they confront death, the less human and the more Choujin they become. I think this is partially Sui Ishida explaining Choujin to us, but I think this and Choujin within Choujin X are also kind of a microcosm and maybe Sui Ishida's, I don't know, possibly critique on heroes, protagonists in things like Western media, some manga, things like this. But that's something I want to save for a different video for a different time. This is when we learned that through repeated maiming and revival, Tokyo has simply reached his limit. Long ago, in fact. That's why Azuma is holding him up triumphantly. Also, not just holding him up, after Tokyo... Okay, I'll just get to it. He's holding Tokyo up triumphantly, and Tokyo transforms into this thing, whatever you want to call that. This is the point in the chapter where everything turns around. The tables flip, or the tables got, like, thrown through the roof, because Azuma starts getting annihilated. This kid has zero chance now that Tokyo has transformed, and I am all about it. I mean, look at that thing! I mean, look at him! I say that thing like I don't know who or what it is. It is Tokyo, for God's sake. One thing real quick before we get into the awesomeness, because trust me, it is awesomeness. Seriously, every panel of Tokyo is just awesome and cool now. I love it. Either way, did Tokyo take one step closer to looking like this thing? Who knows? Maybe that is the final full beastification, the true full beastification of Tokyo. And maybe we got one step closer. Not gonna lie, I actually like this form aesthetically more than I do that one. This one just looks entirely way too awesome to me. Kind of a funky looking face, but I don't care, this thing is badass. Now, to explain exactly how badass it is, yeah, he just bitch smacks Azuma with his new fancy little sword. I say little sword, big sword. I mean, at least big compared to me, that thing's huge. Not really compared to Tokyo. Either way, in this form, either way... Yeah, bitch smacked him with his sword. By the time Azuma actually got back up to his feet and got ready for the next attack was already in his face. Tokyo, use drill peck. It was super effective. Dear God, this kid is getting annihilated. Every little bit of medicine that he could take, his own medicine, he's taken all of it. Literally all of it right now. And it's amazing. Because after, the drill peck was super effective, Azuma, let's just say he hit the redo button. Because he got up and got ready for the next attack, and once again, it was already there. Tokyo comes in with whatever attack you want to call that. I don't care. It was ultra effective. Oh my God, he's a monster. Oh, the beast has awakened. Oh my God, Azuma, you done messed up. I'm sorry, bud. I'm not sorry. You've done a lot of terrible things recently. Yes, that was so damn cool. Look at that panel. Look at it. Admire it. Love it. Those are the proper reactions. But as this is going on, the narrator continues. He said, through repeated maiming and revival, Tokyo had long since reached his limit, and so he came to understand it was not defeat, but the fear of losing to which he first succumbed. They were made differently. Now, you can take that they were made differently as the narrator talking about Azuma and Tokyo, but I believe he was simply referring to defeat and the fear of losing being made differently. Post-editing Pirate Hunter here, the more I think about it, the whole they were made differently is actually probably referring to the whole defeat and, fear of losing, and also Azuma and Tokyo, because when you look at the page that it was on, the big double page spread of Tokyo smacking down Azuma, yeah, the placement kind of makes you think it's talking about both, because they are two entirely different things. To truly succumb to defeat is to reach the end of the road. You did in fact fully lose. To succumb to the fear of losing means you didn't actually try in the first place. You were scared of losing, so you simply succumbed to that. You didn't actually go through with it in order to be defeated. So I think Tokyo did realize something that I had kind of mentioned in the last chapter review. The whole insecurities not leading you to fully try your hardest. Say, oh yeah, I tried, but did you really try your hardest? Give it every single thing you got. If Tokyo was afraid of losing, not succumbing to actual defeat, well, he probably wasn't actually giving it everything he had. He probably wasn't using every bit of potential he possesses. This could have been that lesson that he needed. Or if you want to look at Azuma during this moment, we can do that as well. Because it's possible that what sparked all of this fight, what he did to Ellie, Simon, Momoma, all of this stuff, what could have sparked this was Azuma's fear of losing. Not him actually succumbing to defeat, but fearing losing. Not only losing to Tokyo, but the fact that losing to him would mean he is no longer his hero. But that, of course, connects more to the very end of the chapter. But after he lands the final shot on Azuma, Tokyo also does, hit that limit that we were talking about earlier. And yeah, this new form just melts away. And he's just like, oh god, oh. Somebody help. I've fallen and I can't get up. Meanwhile, Azuma goes sinking into the water. And, even though he's a good swimmer, he's having a hard time, and he just keeps sinking further and further and further, and eventually he gets washed out of this drainage pipe, aqueduct, whatever you want to call it, I don't know, whatever that thing is. Yeah, he gets washed out of it, and looks like he's about to, fall to his death. Yeah, he's in pretty bad shape, but he's also a Choujin. I don't even know if that would have killed him, after all the things we've seen Choujin survive. Either way, these things are stupidly durable. Yeah, at the last moment, who comes in to save him? Of course, it is Tokyo. But this is kind of the thing that we were dealing with right now. During this whole Azuma sinking thing, we also get to see his point of view and a little bit of a flashback with him and Tokyo when they were little and nice and friendly and not trying to, kill each other. Well, one of them wasn't trying to kill the other one. I guess neither of them were trying to kill each other. Either way, it looked like they were trying to kill each other. Now, Azuma, well, he was Tokyo's hero. And this all kind of made a rift between the two of them. Or at least for Azuma, it kind of did. It seems as if things from the whole arm wrestling match had kind of gone by the wayside. Azuma had kind of forgotten about it. He was just friends with Tokyo. He enjoyed the dynamic between the two of them. He definitely liked being somebody's hero. Once again, we come back to the fear of losing versus actual defeat. Azuma and everything that he's done here was sparked by his fear of losing Tokyo and his fear of losing that place in Tokyo's heart. From Tokyo getting the Choujin powers and being able to spread his wings as the vulture that he is, truly take off and go his own way instead of feeding off of the scraps from Azuma. Not that is how Azuma treated Tokyo, but that's how others viewed Tokyo being around Azuma. Now, also, you can look at the fact that Ellie came into Tokyo's life when Tokyo got the powers. Ellie also has powers now, unlike Azuma at the time. So, once again, the fear of losing Tokyo. That was even strengthened by the fact that Tokyo was impressed with Ellie. He even told Azuma that he was impressed with Ellie and how good she was at being a keeper. Like, she was just picking this stuff up naturally, and Tokyo was kind of having a tough time really getting into the grooves of all of it. Now, look at it from Azuma's side. Dealing with this fear of losing Tokyo, this fear of losing the place in Tokyo's heart as his hero. Now, all of a sudden, you can't really keep up with the powers, and Tokyo has eyes for Ellie now. All of these things start to add up and overwhelm Azuma, and this fear of losing is ultimately what he succumbed to, because he was never defeated. Nobody ever beat him out for that place in Tokyo's heart. We even saw Tokyo going through it earlier in the chapter, talking about, I don't look down on you, I respect you, like all of this stuff. Tokyo doesn't look at Azuma any differently than he ever has. Azuma is still that tippity top in Tokyo's book. He wasn't defeated. He succumbed to the fear of losing. More importantly, back to the, very beginning of the video, we're now at the point, like I said, Azuma is falling, Tokyo comes in and saves him, but he's flying to save him, and he has hands on the wings! One, that's so weird looking. Are those not just weird looking wings? Am I the only one who thinks that just looks weird? I don't like it. Flappy hands. No. Two, connection to the mother thing. No, kind of yes. I don't know how else to end this. There's gonna be videos that spawn from this chapter. Even if they don't come out right away, even if it's like a month, 2 months down the line, there will be videos that come out that connect back to things we learned or first saw here in chapter 23. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It helps out, it means a ton. And I hope I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.